What is good? Hello and welcome to another episode of the What is Good podcast. My name is Jason Delgado. Do we have enough cord? Yeah, we do. We're back at it, baby. Another week. How does everybody's week go? Hope everybody had a good one, enjoyed themselves. I had a very good weekend. I had a great show at the Comedy Chateau. The Comedy Chateau. Very, very cool spot, man. That joint is just great energy, great crowd. Awesome show. You know, had some friends come out. It was a really, really good time. It was kind of fun, too, because I was trying out new material. And one of the things that's so... I don't know how this works as far as, I don't know, energy or like universe stuff or like how the magic of communication translates. But it's so weird that when you're making something, and people who make stuff know this, that you're in your room and you're doing all this stuff and you're trying to make it work and you're like, you know, these are the words I'm going to say and this is how I'm going to say it or this is how I'm going to do it. And I think it's good. I feel good about it. I feel good. Let's go. And in your room, it feels a certain way. And then as soon as there's one other person there, it just, you immediately see what's wrong. You immediately see what works. You immediately understand new things about what you were thinking about. Like just the parameters of thought just change so dramatically once there's an audience or just one other person in the room. And it's just really, really an amazing thing because it especially with stand-up comedy. I mean, with movies and stuff, I'm sure it's the same thing. Like I've made movies where, you know, you're in the editing bay and it's all one thing. And then as soon as you show it to one person, you go like, oh, this is slow, or this is good, or this is that. Just that energy of the other person being there. But it proves that you can't do it in a bubble. You know, with stand-up especially, like you really gotta show out. You know, whatever you think it's going to be in your head doesn't matter in any way, shape, or form. Because until you say the words out loud in front of people, that's the only way you're going to know if it works. And it's unique in that way. Because I think that there are, you know, like even with like music or like movies or like certain or like drawing, you could show it to one person, you know, and get a sense of what's right and what's wrong, or especially if that person is close, sort of the sense of that. But with comedy, it's like a crowd is required. Like you need a group of people. I don't even know what a group is, maybe 5 or more. You need a group of people because sometimes people will laugh just because other people are laughing. And you realize like that's working because it's a sort of a chain reaction thing. And these are parameters that you can't even consider when you're home alone in your room. And it's just a fascinating thing. And as soon as I said it, like the example in this case is that, you know, one example, I wrote a new joke about the fact that I can't salsa dance. And as a Puerto Rican, that bothers me because we come out of the womb salsa dancing. Yuck, 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 right? So I'm going through the material in my room and, you know, trying to kind of come up with bits about how then I see salsa dancers and they're doing all these crazy moves, but they're like, we go on the 1 or we go on the 2. Like they're counting while they're throwing someone across the room like a boomerang and then catching them again and going right back into rhythm, like totally in sync. So I found this funny. I decided I was going to do a bit about it. And so I'm going through sort of the permutations. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. And when I get on stage and I actually perform the bit, what I realize is it's the sound effects that are getting the laugh. And this is something even furthermore I can't do at home because I don't have like a PA system. I usually hold like a microphone or a remote control or like a pen to kind of simulate that sort of thing when I practice. But I make a sort of a sound effect where I go and I send the person across the room, and then the guy takes a drink, and then he catches the person, and they keep salsa dancing. And I'm like, man, I want to throw you like a boomerang, And anyway, the bit really sings because in a PA system, like with a microphone, that sort of sound effect really translates. Like it really sells the joke, like when I recatch the person. And I was watching it like on video and I was like, oh man, that's a really funny part of it that I can enhance or I can work with. But I would have never known that at home in my room doing my thing because I don't know those parameters. I don't know that there's echo. I don't know sound effects, how they sound in a room. Just wild stuff. And just how like that allows, people who might not care about the joke or even be paying attention when they hear like the sound effect or they hear the act out. It got their attention and it made them laugh and it made them, funny. And so I just love that, like, it's the experience, And then there's certain parts of the joke that were slow that I could tell people weren't into and I could back out of it. But you just don't know until you have that experience and you go out and you step out into the world and you actually, like, try it out. And I think that that's a super important thing in life in general, but especially in comedy. I just think it's, even open mics, like I was very fortunate enough that there's an open mic near me that's more like a, it's like a suggestion thing, like a writer's room. And I like those kind of mics. But sometimes, you'll be, in an open mic and you'll hear these jokes and I'll go, this is really funny for this room, but I don't know if this will translate out in the world. And so you really have to kind of try it out in the world, like with strangers who are not comedians, who are just there because they're interested in laughing. And if you have the opportunity to do that, that's really the only place that you could see if a joke's going to work or what's going to work. You can get suggestions, you can get, tightening up when you're doing open mics and stuff. But like this sort of giant wave of information that comes doing it in front of an audience where you just go like, oh man, this. It's just amazing. It's an amazing thing. And so that was my experience this weekend, just having a cool Saturday night with a great crowd and being able to try the stuff. And I mean, nothing really bombed, but it was like, I could see where it was the strongest and I could see where it was kind of like where it could use a little tightening. But that one variable about how using sound, how that made such a big difference. I was like, oh man, would have never come up with that in my bathroom in the mirror. So many, many blessings. That was a lot of fun. Shout out to the Comedy Chateau for hosting an awesome show. One of the things that was not very awesome, even though this is always the What Is Good podcast, this time change is crazy. So like Sunday, I guess we set the time forward, whatever, so we lose an hour of sleep. Sunday is fine. No problem. But Monday, today, my goodness. I opened my eyes. I looked outside. It was still dark. I'm ready to go back into the covers. I look at the time. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. I was like, bro, you got to get up and do the day in like 20 minutes. And it was pitch black pretty much. I was like, this is no bueno. I want the old time back. I think it's just because my body doesn't necessarily wake with time, but it wakes with light. Like, I think it knows, like, when it's light enough out, this is when I should be getting up. And in this sense, I was just like, dude, the clock is lying to you. Go back to sleep. My body's like, the world is lying. This is not the time. And so it was rough. It was rough. So I had to muster up some energy and get it going. And that's why it's kind of light out still. Yeah, it's just, it's fun because it's more light like at night, which I kind of like. I hate when it's like dark at like 4 o'clock. It's the worst feeling. But yeah, losing that hour in the morning, no me gusta mucho. But yeah, doing my best. I hope everybody else is adapting to it. Thank you, farmers. But what is good? We got a nice little awesome evening with some sunlight. Still 6 o'clock and it's bright out. Giving that summertime energy vibe. Love that. That is good. Also, what is good is the best thing I saw this week. And this week, it had to do with the LA Marathon. LA Marathon is runs by my house every single year. So it's an event I try to wake up for watch the runners run while I sip coffee and not run. But this year, after watching, I decided, I'm going to kind of have the marathon on in the background, do a little laundry, do a little couple chores, adjust my body to the hour, and just keep an eye on the marathon, see if anything fun happens. And my goodness, the LA Marathon had the awesomest, most amazing thing I've ever seen in a marathon ever. Photo finish. So yeah, this guy from, I think, Kenya or Ethiopia was just crushing the whole time. No problem. Cruising. He's about 2, maybe 3 blocks ahead of everybody. And then all of a sudden, right at the last minute, this guy in blue just starts chugging along and hauling like a sprint. It wasn't a marathon. It was a sprint. And that dude sprinted his way to the finish line and beat the other guy who was ahead the whole time, won the race, won the LA Marathon. He's an American. He's 43 years old, and he is a high school coach. Come on. Go America. Dude, we're owning right now. We did it in hockey. We beat the Canadians. We're doing it in the LA Marathon. There was another one that we did too, where we beat a team that was supposed to win. Who was it? Anyway, we're crushing right now. Go America. I like that. I'm pro-America. Pro-good America. But yeah, I got to tell you, that LA Marathon, pretty spectacular how that guy, man, do the damn thing, bro. Always believe in yourself. Never give up. I was very, very happy. It made me feel good. It made me feel good as a plus 40-year-old man. You can still win the LA Marathon. Yeah, gave me something to hope for. So I'm very, very happy to have something to hope for in the future. Maybe not a marathon, but just that never give up feeling. Believe in yourself. I like that. In any case, thank you so much for making it this far. This has been the What is Good podcast. My name is Jason Delgado. Please like, subscribe. Let me know what the best thing you saw this week was. Anything fun and exciting going on? I have a show coming up tomorrow. So if you are in the Valley at all, I'm going to be in an awesome place called the Bruise Brothers, and that's in the Valley. Check it out. Go online or just check out the Instagram page. Follow me on Instagram. Jason Delgado Live, all the latest and greatest with me, fun videos, cool clips. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great week. We will catch you on the next one.
Here he comes. Here he comes. So let's get right back down to finish line so we can watch Michael cross the line here. Michael Kamau from Kenya.
Just over 2 hours and 11 minutes on the clock. Because we can only see just a little bit beyond.
We have to see that playback to see exactly what happened.